What up, what up?
You miss us?
I know, our transition time is pretty fucking shit with my technological prowesses.
Oh shit. Who that?
What's good in the hood, y'all? Future
That
cast.
costume though.
Let's do this. Let's talk some shit coins, goddammit. This is the crypto
Uh-oh.
latex edition.
Future cast living in the future world.
Future world. This is where we're going. So you know how like in Back to the Future they tried to guess what motherfuckers are gonna look like in 2015? This is my guess of 2029. If I'm wrong, fucking sue me. Um, at any rate, how's everybody doing? Did you guys enjoy that last stream over on KJ's channel, man? We covered some pretty good shit, I thought.
Some
Indeed.
people missed it. Seeing some new names. They must have missed it.
Our streams are never 25 minutes. What streams are you watching? We've just worked our way down to getting towards an hour, bro. Back in the days, I have like 7 hour streams and stuff. People like going to fucking comas. I've shortened it out for you guys a lot.
The first stream was good. I think you guys should check it out because I mean, well, we're gonna cover more now.
Twister, God, that handle's gonna kill me. Twister, okay, you're Twiz. Said, I'm not bullish on XRP anytime soon, but I am bullish on the project itself. You should have David Schwartz of new ones. Okay, cool. So keep that statement, we'll come back to that. And here there's a comment you guys were talking on before you left your channel, so we'll finish that over here. Let's see, catch up with everybody else that's here. Waffles, read the pinned message in the church when you get a chance. Super Mario, if you're in a church, you also read that. Appreciate you guys on tier 3. See what else we got in here. Monkeymon, respect on the bits, boss.
Monkey That's a good name.
I like that, that's just hot. Proof of X, say legendary stream. Awesome, glad you liked it, man. Hope you guys learned some shit. We'll look at some more stuff to learn over here. You know, we don't put out the greatest number of streams, but we try to make sure if we get your attention to come here, that what you come here for is worth your fucking time, you know. So I'm glad you guys appreciate it. Thanks for checking it out. I know I catch you guys some bizarre times on the US side of things, and it's never when you fuckers want it. Believe me, we tried to make this US session, and the universe conspired to shove my ass to 1 a.m. anyway. It's just, KJ knows, I was trying, we did this, we planned earlier.
I was trying too,
I hit him up, and just time was, you know, time hauls ass when you're having fun. So, let's see. What stuff do we got here? Everybody here, J-Bo, what up? What up? God damn, I love Myrtle Beach. That's a good handle. So yeah,
meanwhile there's like 300 people looking at Crypto Traders TV, and all it is a chart with the tensor showing that, you know, they're just looking at a blank chart with nothing.
Well,
See?
that is scarce.
That's why scarce, right?
That is scarce. He jinxed me, motherfucker. So I ain't worried about them. You know what we do here. I don't think there's anybody in the network to compare to it. We try to deliver value above and beyond what you know you probably could consume. So you know, there's no overabundance of things to learn here, and we learn by educating you guys on some of these topics and discussing your viewpoints on it. So this is a feedback mechanism also for us. Everybody we try to make sure has a benefit in being in these streams. And I think if everybody endeavored to do that in, you know, market TV or any TV, that the audience would have real, you know, value in what they took their time to consume. You're gonna take your time out to watch this. I don't want it to waste your time, and neither does KJ. So, all right, the XRP bullish case. You know, I guess what aspect are you bullish on? You know, the centralization aspect of XRP and their model is the only real model that grandma could ever be part of, because we talked about this many times in past streams, is that you need recourse, and accidentally sending, you know, 50 G's to the wrong fucking person, not being able to pick up the phone and strangle somebody is not something grandma's ever going to do in mass adoption. So that was the case I made for XRP, in 2013 and 14. And that's the time that I was extremely bullish on it, and we were in it. Um, it's not that the idea behind Ripple is not a good one. It's that crypto as a whole, like we said, what does it really replace? What is the problem it solves? That's the real problem of all of it. Everyone's looking for crypto to save them from the debasement of currency, fiat currency. And we've already said that the real problem is that most people don't fully understand what fiat's role is and what money credit really does, what the advantages leverage really did for us as a civilization. Whether it's for every member of the population, that's a different conversation. It's not that the system at hand was designed for the entire population. Like anything else, the machine is built with a specific purpose in mind and a specific utility for a specific person or entity. The bulk of the population on this planet are part of this machine. And so that part of the machine is trying to figure out a way to solve currency. That's where the problem begins. The currency wasn't designed to benefit them anyway. It was designed to fucking help move the planet along. And part of the fractional reserve model that allows us to leverage assets of the world and terraform it by fucking leaving assets we create to produce new ones. And that machine works just fine. So when you look at crypto is like I said, a solution looking for a problem. That's the big problem with all of this. I guess, what aspects about XRP do you think are so great right now in 2019? Because you've been around, you're saying from 2012, where were you at on your bullishness for XRP in 2013, 14, 15, and what makes you so bullish today in 2019? There's a lot to look at, I guess. It needs more information for me to really wrap my head around where you're at on it. Super Mario, respect on some bits, player. Don't know where my sound went on that. Let's see who else is in here.
Twitter says it was centralized back then. It has completely changed. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Space Cash is gifting fucking subs. That's some fire shit. Respect on that. Jazz Squitter, you guys should be fucking ecstatic. Edmond Wonton. Respect. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. Is it not centralized? Is XRP all of a sudden decentralized and none of us know about that?
Yeah, that's new to me.
That's new to me too. So, I guess let's talk about some charts. Let's look at some shit coins. Let's see what your bullish market structures look like out there. Because the saying that we talk about, it's not my saying, but it's a very good one. It says, in markets you should always trigger fundamentally, but enter the price technically. No matter what your belief is about XRP, it should never supersede what the price is actually doing right now. Because we know price is a graph of human behavior over time. So you're trading people's perception of a thing. You're not trading a thing. And there's a difference there. So let's see. First, we're going to stare at that because it's a thing of beauty. And then we're going to move over to a real chart. Let's see what I got up here for Bitcoin.
Lucky number 13.
Lucky 13, bitches. Don't call me lucky. So, there's BTC. This is on Binance, so it's not got any of my bullshit lines all over it. So, this is what we're doing. And we're talking on KV's channel about, the sentiment of crypto, right? People watching, what was it, Ether, BTC had on there, and we had this, massive downtrend. And what he was saying, I was talking about is the sentiments, right? Every time you saw it, just think this is Ether, not BTC. And this is, every time you had a pop, alts are back. Alts are back. Alts are back. But when we really got into the grave and people really shit themselves and you had that pleb get on TV and say the winter was here. Who's that fraud again? Vinny? When he gets on TV at 26 and tells you this is actually where winter comes in, November 26th is where he tells everybody that stupid shit, right? And he literally sets the base of this thing. He sends every jackass that would have seen that horrible fucking prediction and fucking tattooed their asses down here. Once you saw this, what were people talking about? Moon Lambo boys are gonna die, right? The sentiment had flipped when you came out of this. At this point, everyone couldn't wait to say that's gonna be a short. See, I told you so. And every time
one thing I noticed, and I like to I don't think I've ever asked you this, but something that I've noticed personally is when somebody that doesn't have a track record or does have a track record of being wrong a lot, says something like that,
right,
they tend to be right for a short period of time. Like sometimes they can be right, like it's not like they're immediately wrong. So like he said on 26,
right?
Like I noticed that like a lot of the time, so I'll watch, they'll be right for a very short period of time, and then they'll get very, very excited. Like, look, see, I told you, and like that's when it all fucking goes to shit for them.
Right, and well, they're all hoping, right? So you got those guys calling it all the way. That's what I'm showing you here, right? So they're not just calling it at the tippity top spike. You know, if you're gonna like, look, I'm gonna tell you, you guys are gonna get it. Trust me, you're gonna get fucked up. Let me get a fucking actual pointer. The fact that I'm actually sitting here drawing pointers when I have a pointer is really retarded. That's pretty fucking stupid, dude. Anyway, shut up.
It works. It works.
So, you know, what's happening at this point? You guys are going to get wrecked. I fucking tell you. See, I told you so, right? So it's a resolution of time thing. You know, on the daily chart, not a whole lot looks like it's going on here. But those guys are myopic, and they're really zoomed in. So they're not looking at this thing like, you know, like an investor across large spans of time. They are trying to catch everybody on the wrong side. So where do they get involved at? They get involved saying, hey, look at this huge run-up. It's going to dump, and they say it the whole way, right? You see the motherfuckers, they're saying it the whole way. You guys are going to get wrecked. You guys are going to get wrecked. All right? You saw those guys calling shorts all the way up. Picking levels, 7,000 became a level. 8,000 became a level. All of a sudden, there were key levels. Quadruple 6 on the way up. That's going to shut it down, the CAS level from the year before. And as it keeps on pumping, right, eventually you get the guy who's on Twitter, he's like, bro, it's going to get wrecked. And this happens. But this is one of the things we talk about with perception and price. So let me turn this fucking BPBR off real quick.
Two people come to mind when you say that.
So here's the thing, right? So look at price. Like, this is good where these arrows are. And look at price. Here's the reason why hindsight TA is so fucking dangerous. When you look backwards at a price, think about it like driving your car backwards. If you drove your car looking out the back window, what the fuck do you think is going to happen to you eventually? You're going to crash, right? That's not different than price, right? If I just learned about Bitcoin, let's forget this is a 1 hour chart. Let's just say this was like 2014 and I learned about Bitcoin here in 2016. Oops. You know, here in 2016, whatever, or even here in 2018. Let's just say these were two different points in time. I can't do anything about yesterday. All this doesn't mean shit. I can't take action on it. I can't appear here in the price because I wish I could. There's nothing I can do. The only thing you can do at this moment is participate in what's going to happen in the future. So like driving a car, your only real fucking plan is to look out in front of you at what's possible. This is all that you can deal with at the moment you arrive in price. Nothing before fucking matters. What people get caught up in is looking at where price is today and going, man, if I had ever had it back here, I would fucking, dude, that's the fucking low. But the reality is that's really ridiculous because there's only going to be one low out of the entire historical price pattern. And if you want to play this game, there's no reason I can't come in and go, well, if you had had it back in 2011, it'd be much lower. And well, somebody can come back and go, well, if you had had it in 2010, it's much lower. You don't want to play that game, right? If you never heard of Bitcoin until just today, what the fuck does that even matter to even put into your head? The only thing you can really do with this shit is deal with what's going to unfold in the future. So that means that's a different perspective to take on it, right? This moment in time, right here, if this is the front of the train, can do one of two things. It can be tomorrow's future high or tomorrow's future low relative to what unfolds into the future from that point. That's what you trade. So there's nothing that says that, you know, today's highest high that you see can't be tomorrow's low, right? Because price can keep on unfolding into the future. So now, relatively speaking, this is a great location compared to that, and that's what you make money on when you speculate. So it's the hindsight guy wants to be the low, so he spends a lot of his time trying to guess where it is, so that he can go, see, look where I've got it. But it's ridiculous. In a bull market, no one has to be the lowest candle to make money. You just have to be in a low risk adjusted position relative to what the market is unfolding and doing, and has a tendency to keep doing. That's it. That's a perspective issue completely that gets people doing that silly shit. So when you're trending in this direction, and that person, out of ego's sake, doesn't have this point, why do I keep doing that? Doesn't have this position where he can go, aha, look how smart I am, I have the low. Then he's endeavoring to try and do it again from the top. He wants to be the guy that has the highest spot. And this is a completely egotistical decision, because we know that there's only going to be one low point in any amount of candles it takes to happen. Whether it's 1,000 or 100 candles, there's going to be one data point at the bottom. Hunting for that is statistically unlikely to be found and implausible to continue to find across time. So it's just irrational. When you do the exact same thing hunting for the top, that's who feeds these trends. Is dumb people who can't admit they're wrong. They hobble whatever fucking excuse they need to tell themselves to not deal with reality. And that's why we say trends are built on the dead bodies of those too ignorant to get out of the way of their own bullshit. This is this right here. So as they get a move and they go, aha, I'm right, in this resolution of time that he's staring at it, it looks like he's caught the fucking top of fucking Litecoin winter. But the reality is, again, this is a perspective issue, and this is just a down wave in a bull trend, right? So he's not necessarily looking at it in the right time frame to understand that with proper context, you're actually in a pullback of something much larger going the opposite way. And that's the psychology of what makes this work, is that your people who are bearish are having confirmation bias about what they see here, and it's like, see, I fucking knew it. And that is what allows there to be a location where there's more plebs cornered, and their supply of coins on the wrong side can be marked up by the person who builds the shockwave. And it unfolds, and it looks the same every time. That's the highest price in history, though. Now it's got to be a terrible idea, right? This is so much worse than before. If you didn't get in here, and you didn't get in here, bro, you're an idiot to get in here. Really? Then we say that today's high can be tomorrow's future low? That's the nature of a trend. So your perception will fuck with you depending on your biases. If you believe this has got to crash, when that shows itself, you'll be fucking sure you were right. And you were sure that same dumb shit here, 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 and that is the nature of a bull flag, right? All the dummies who won't stop doing that, feeding it, and being sure I was right. I was right. I was right. And you know why I'm wrong now? Because they manipulated it. If it wasn't for the fucking Fed, I'd have had this shit. Oh,
the Jews.
Tether, Fed, Phoenix, they both fucked me. Right? And so this is an ego problem. Perspective matters, right? And so as you see this thing unfold across times, you know, it's the worst it's ever going to look. Just like anything else. It's the highest number you've ever seen, but all things are relative. It can keep on unfolding just like that and get even more crazy. So that's the nature of what a trend is. As it builds out, right, people sit there and they tell themselves what they need to believe to justify why they're not part of this. Ultimately, when you see people cheerleading for something to crash, they want the stock market to crash. Do you think anybody in their right fucking mind that's not an idiot would fucking actually want any version of 2009 to happen again to prove that the fucking economy is what they think? Who the fuck wants to actually be inside 2009 again? The only person I would ever want that's a person that missed the fucking entire pump. That's an asshole. They just want to see you lose because they lost. And that's most people, believe it or not. That's most of your friends and family too. So that's why your friends only call you up when fucking Bitcoin's crashing, like you still in that Bitcoin thing, because they expect you to be losing. They never call you when it's flying through the ceiling and they haven't bought it. They call you when they think you might be getting wrecked. You notice that a lot.
Yeah, everybody on this stream that's in crypto knows that's the truth.
Everybody in crypto knows it. When did your family hit you back up about it? When they saw that the news was getting wrecked and they're wondering if you're getting wrecked with it. But they didn't hit you up when it's flying through the ceiling and you were totally right about what you told them. Didn't give a fuck because they wouldn't give you that benefit. they wouldn't give you the satisfaction of that shit. So that's the thing about perspective. Let's take a pause on that. All right. Let's see. Any questions about what we talked about? Any good questions you see, Kate, in there? Nobody got a question?
Nah, everybody's just talking about, the
So,
sentiment as far as how people want you to fail.
Oh, there it is. Right, so as a trend unfolds, the main thing, the psychology of the people on the wrong side of it feed it, They all have the same idea that it's got to be the top for whatever the fuck they believe, and they can't see it any other way. The reality is, though, as, time unfolds, so we did this with the Dow Jones chart. Let me just skip that one that's annotated.
Insurrect says, regarding bias, what's the best way to form one?
Oh, yeah. You actually asked me. You don't want to form. You want to be objective in your analysis. It's not that you want to have a bias, right? Because a bias requires you to condition information to fit your viewpoint, which means you have to delete info. That's the danger. To have a strong bias means that you've thrown out a lot of information to make sure you can have your conviction about this viewpoint. And in a closed system, if you're going to go against anybody else who is slightly more informed, we know that knowledge is power. That's a dangerous position to take. Where is it? That one. So forming a strong bias might not actually be the goal. Having an objective view of information, I think, is the goal. That could be a bias, but it'll keep you ahead of most of the crowd that doesn't think it's a good idea. So in that world, it's relatively a better idea.
Igluenza. Coworker just told me a few hours ago how his friend was telling him that October is the worst month for markets, so he's staying out for right now. LOL.
Historically, October is the period with the biggest crashes. That's true.
Yeah. See, people like, a lot of, people that don't really know anything about markets think that the only time you can make money is when it goes up too. So.
Right. What's to stop you from, in bear markets like the internet bubble, to short the internet stocks as they blew up, right? You ever wonder why everyone has got such a long-only mentality?
I do. Yeah. Why?
People have installed optimism. It comes from the way you're brought up. If you look at what institutions do you guys get exposed to as children that everybody could possibly get the same kind of base ideas and concepts installed in them at a place they don't know it? Your parents and the way they deal with you, your religious institutions, your schools, your authoritative figures, your legislative figures and stuff like that in society. And there is a natural optimistic conditioning built in. People like to think on what they call the bright side. Not necessarily really, but conceptually they say so. And religion is one of those places that helps us start elevating things to a place of perfection that you have to attain and achieve, and it starts to kind of set a perception in you, and it's fueled by many things around you in society that doesn't teach you to be objective about information, but teaches you to tilt it in favor of an ideological outcome. And that's trained to everybody, very young as kids. And culturally, you may think it's a good thing to do, but it teaches your kids to be myopic.
DL streams. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. DL streams. What's up?
Are bull flags like those that slope down generally require more time compared to the next bull wave up? Do bull flags? I don't really understand.
I don't actually understand that either. I don't think I understand that question.
Yeah, alright. V713281. I had thought that the mass of dumb money came in at a big euphoric move in a high time frame. But there is euphoric moves on any time frame. Someone has to lose for someone else to gain. Can you touch on that?
Let's look at that question exactly again. did she say? I thought that massive jump money came in at a big euphoric move in a high time frame, but that euphoric move is in any time frame. Some answer for someone to win. Can you touch on that? Okay. Wow, that's a really well written question there, B71. Okay, let's go back to the chart. All right. I was going to do this one, but let's go back to BCC. So let's delete all this stuff. All right, so what you said was really interesting, right? You said, what time from now? Make it to a bigger one. So this is big BTC's overall cycle. This is I think this is the Binance chart of it. This is all we need for now. So you're saying like, yeah, you thought that like all the dummies get caught up here, like in the NASDAQ, right? The internet bubble, you have this huge spike over the top, and like most of the people show up like, you know, well after this point, like in the very, very steepest part. So maybe we can get a chart that has a little more data on it. Let's see if we can get one from Polo. BTC USD. Alright. So Polo's chart, we got history good. Alright, let's get that guy out of here. So what we saw for data metrics was that actually I have this. I can get a chart for it. Let me find that in my side screen here, and I'll get it one sec. It's a comic. Oh yeah, let's search for a really detailed comic. Well, I can't see shit through these glasses. Alright, here goes nothing. Shut up, KJ.
What?
I can't see fucking thing. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for the snowman. It's so hard to see his ass when I don't have glasses on. I'm gonna find it. Hang on.
Actually, I didn't know you had bad eyesight.
No, I don't have bad eyesight. I do with these fucking things on my face. I can't see shit. I got great eyesight. Just not right now. Sacrifices.
I have shitty eyesight.
Well, you know, if you'd open your eyes more, you could see.
Oh boy.
Come on, that was easy. You walked into that. You already know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah. Earlier you were talking about the Asians can't run, they can't do anything. I think we.
Have you seen?
And on the last stream, you were talking about how you were making 3-pointers in ball. I think the next time you come to New York, we got to play one-on-one.
Oh man, I'm gonna take
so
your
I will bust that ass.
Oh,
if we play one-on-one, I will wreck you.
Oh my god, it's gonna be fucking, you know, jam.
It'll be a disaster for you. Trust me.
Damn son, why are you hating?
I'm not hating. I'm just telling you what it is, and then you can say.
I'm not gonna take you. Am I gonna take you out to the Rucker, son? What's gonna happen?
We could go to the Rucker. We could go to the Dub. We could go anywhere. We could go to 8 Ball in Brooklyn, and film it. I will wreck you in ball, and I'm willing to bet on it. I know. I just sized you up. You know. I know. You can't beat me.
Damn. You hate. You don't even know if I got game, and you willing to bet on it. See, that's okay, guys. This is a great example of an uninformed decision. Willing to bet, you know, his namesake on something he has no idea. Did you see the photo? He's like 4'11".
Doesn't matter. I'll wreck you. See, I wouldn't speak confidently unless I knew something that you didn't.
I see how this works. All right, I found it. God damn, that took a while. All right, so thank you for stalling for me, sir. You are going to get your ankles broken, though. This is how this is going to go down. They could even regard what happens to you in the court versus me as a potential hate crime. You know that?
No way.
Potential hate crime. Anyway. So, this is a great chart that has some cool info on it. I've asked this before. This was posted May 25th, 2018. And the joke of this one is, how many of you guys saw the snowman? That's the low of lucky. That's lucky 13. So that was actually where I figured out where it should probably fucking get to once it finishes killing everybody. So I threw, it's winter. Duh, snowman, get it? Anyways.
You have the purple dotted line there, too.
Yeah, I ran it right through, but I made it nice and faint. And that's what I based the image on. I told you, I always set the image on levels. Most people don't look at the levels, they look at the image. So it was pretty funny. I guess the big moon with the arrow thing might have distracted you. Anyway,
Yep.
what this shows you is a really interesting piece of information, mostly this up here. And this was why I call this range the hold on to your butts range. 92% bought crypto in 2017. Think about this. And 68% of it is right there. In the entire existence of the entire bull cycle at this resolution, from its inception to where we can't see it, let's see, over here, let me fix this chart to, suppose it was way the fuck back there, right? So, chart top. So you look back here and you think this is 2015 or whatever, it goes way back obviously, but from all of the inceptional history of crypto, do I have a fucking stamp somewhere? Alright, 95% show up past this point right here, 92%. In all of crypto's entire fucking history, that's what 90% of crypto is. Like, think about how crazy that actually is. Let's get the whole history of crypto, of BTC. So along this whole arc, 92% of everybody who is in the market is there. Can you imagine that? Think about how crazy that actually is. And from that point, oops, have I switched it yet? Yeah, I have. Okay, and from that point, 68% of the 92% that bought in 2017 are all above fucking Roger's ass. Now you get an idea why I call it Roger's ass. So everybody's here. They're up here.
They were all eating them groceries.
Right.
That's where
So
all the
if
news
this
came in.
If this actually broke high, Core would be fucking celebrating because boy, it's gonna be fucking epic to get all these dumb fucks through there. So I called it the Core revival. But if it failed, they're gonna blame Roger, and they would be fucking triggered about it. So that was the inside joke of these levels. At any rate, this is telling you a lot though informationally about a bull parabolic arc. That this is the part of the parabolas of the exponential growth in the price that the dummies show up at. They're in the latter part of the bull market. They're not in the early stages. So that's why I tell you the retail, they're the exit. And this is fractally true, right? In any resolution, this kind of structure can be there. We know that. So we take BTC and we just pick a, 30-minute chart, whatever the fuck, and wherever it pops up at, right? Let's go back in time a little bit. Like, these are all crash cycles. That's all the market is, right? There's a climax and a dump and a complacency and an Armageddon, that's all you're ever looking at. So what you can understand is, right, if 100 idiots doesn't look different than a million idiots, it's just a greater amount of people participate in greater spans of time, then that graph we saw on the other side over here is likely fractally true of all parabolic movements. So your idiots are always close to the end. So I hope that speaks about it in a way that makes it clear and keeps it simple for you. All right, next question. Is that thorough enough? Did you get it? Got it? Good?
So, what's his name? This guy, he rephrased his question. Is the total time of bullish fractal greater than the time until the peak of the next bull move upward?
Wait, I don't think I understood that.
I don't really understand it either, actually. I still don't get it.
Happy people don't overthrow authorities. That is a good point. Website, can Americans short Bitcoin? I kind of saw this dip coming after all, born foundation. I think they have a place that you can short. Is Gemini still offering that contract? I don't think there's actually anywhere for U.S. citizens to short anymore.
No, there isn't, but
there is, but there isn't.
Yeah, there isn't. Research that.
Yeah, somebody said you're half my size, motherfucker.
Doesn't matter.
Spud Webb versus MJ. That's how that shit's gonna look. Korean fucking man. Spud Webb. He might have hops though. The motherfucker's fucking got some muscles on him.
I could play ball. Like I wouldn't say that I would beat you if I didn't think I could. It would be too humiliating. I wouldn't even do it to you. It wouldn't be a good look for you. Let's put it that way.
You got to ask Chino about them fadeaways, boy. Them things are daggers. Okay, so what is it? Recently seen one person express the same behavior as a large group of behaviors. Summarize. Is this a fractal as far as fractals? Is one person enough to validate a fractal or a large amount of people? Well, is one person enough to validate a fractal? There's a couple ways you can go with that. There is so many people spitting out fractals on Twitter. I almost don't think I know what a fractal is anymore. Like, it's fucking crazy.
Oh my god.
But
Fractals went through a crash cycle. Because now everybody's bearish on them because they all got sucked into the gold fractal.
Right.
Like, fractals don't work. I was comparing Bitcoin with EOS and it didn't play out the same.
Like I said, understanding what a market fractal is, I think I have a good example of that written down here for you. Hold on. Which folder is that in? I got something good for you guys. Let's see. That explains that exact point. Any minute now. Okay, where did I put you? Not that. Here it is. Let's get the before and after the LTC winter. That has it best. I don't think I got it here. What? What? I know, I have a million fucking things going.
I just got a message from upstairs.
Clock.
Royce just took a full piss on me and took the biggest, nastiest shit ever. Had to change his clothes and mine. So that's what I'm walking into when I go upstairs.
Snap, son. It's going down.
I'm like, alright, I'm still streaming.
Fucking funny. Where's the stupid before and after this damn thing? I'm retarded. I thought I just had it on my screen.
Which one are you looking for?
Just LTC Winter 4-panel. It's a 4-panel chart. Let's look at CGC. It should be by the Dow 100.
Maybe a little bit fast.
I just seen it.
There we go. I
You
see
got
it.
it?
Down. You passed it. You passed
Yeah.
it. Down.
Fucking blind as a bat. I tell you, I can't see shit, dog.
No, it's way down. You keep going up.
Is it? No, there it is. That's what
Yeah.
I'm looking for. That guy. That one. So, what I talked about here, right? This is LTC Winter. And so this is the actual, for people who aren't familiar with it, this is the 1999 Qualcomm chart, and all this is information specific to Qualcomm. This is the fractally similar situation that occurred in LTC and crypto in 2017. After it unfolded, this is an explanation that this is the Qualcomm, but this is an explanation that a person in crypto made an assumption about why this was impossible to be true. And this is my explanation that should answer your question, right? His comment was, fractals are cool, but how can you compare a debt-less, decentralized asset to anything within the dot-com era? I don't think anyone can argue accurately if crypto is in a bubble or not, due to the fact that it's a completely different animal than all the past macro or micro bubbles. This is pretty much everybody's idea on December 16th, 2017.
That's Nick Core.
Right. So is this idea scarce? No. This was what everybody thought. So it wasn't of any value. The real reality is that he didn't understand what I was doing. So the value is a function of perception. So we are not comparing two different asset classes, we're comparing two different groups of similar humans. In this sense, it's very comparable. Don't close your mind to new, sound so confident in your assumptions. Maybe you're not as right as you think. Like I said, I couldn't be more direct about what I was telling people at this point in time, but they don't have the experience to know what they're looking at. And this is one of the things that's amazing they let this slide in crypto is, this is a $600 billion mistake right here. You know, if I made this call, what crypto would do with me? They would tattoo this to my face every single day of the year. But they all excuse themselves for literally making the single worst logic fucking, assumption and presenting it to massive amounts of followers and doing it with bravado and staying the course for 2018, which is what generated the crash. This wrong ideology, this wrong belief structure guiding decisions that fucking superseded the reality of what was unfolding from the top of the market. It is just
every time you show this chart, I'm holding my head like the first time we spoke.
It's crazy, right?
Wishing I saw that tweet and understood.
Oh, what is happening here? What did I just touch? What is that? Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Right. I did sort of like, the thing that's funny that people say, oh, he was vague about it. This is as detailed a fucking call as you'll get. I gave you the exact mirror image of what was going to happen to you before it happened to you, and it fucking happened to you, and I told you why it would happen. But it's funny, like, crypto tries to pretend, they have to go through trying to delete my work to pretend I didn't do it. When I say I told crypto, I mean, let me fucking be really clear about this. I didn't sort of kind of tell crypto. I mean, I fucking told crypto. So there's the original tweet that I dropped at 11:12 p.m. on December 16, 2017, when I warned everyone what it was, right? And as it came down, one person had asked me here who this was. LTC market cap is big enough that if this lets go, I think let's go like this, think it would likely take most of crypto down with it. This is December 17th, the day after I posted it. And this is December 22nd. While we're still up there, you have time to really think about it. LTC winter is the second side of winter, which now USD dominance over big cap. Peeps who hodl alts clinging to the hope by using USD value from BTC pump can get fully wrecked if big cap dies and erases the remaining USD valuations. Risk management is key, hodling isn't a strategy. There is nothing else I could have fucking told you to tell you what is exactly going to happen. There is no other goddamn words that are in the English language for me to say it more fucking directly than this. This is the most specific fucking call for a crash that literally no one saw coming. But if you think that tweet's fucking crazy, hold on, it gets worse. I made this just to show you how ridiculously hard-headed crypto was. This guy. You want to know how ridiculous it was? This is all of 2018. Try to understand that all of the OGs sat on the other side of this the entire year, as I told you the entire way what the fuck was happening to you. And they could not hear it. I did not sort of tell you once. I only told you the whole fucking crash down. Okay to believe in a project, but does it mean hold with that regard for your own safety? In markets, longevity is key, and using stops just a sign of intelligence. Learn to use stops and admit when you're wrong, so you can live to fight another day. Hodling isn't a strategy. Risk management for the win. What's that date? February 1st, 2018. Let's move on to February 5th, shall we? I don't know what's in here. Bitcoin BTC, like all others, has a familiar footprint in the beginning and the end of the tide. Doesn't matter the asset class, since all markets revolve around the same humans, TA, it's the same thing, right? I don't know, I'm reading as I go. That's February 5th. February 5th again at the bottom of this thing. Only a matter of time before you started seeing stories like this. I don't know what that story was. Use stops, guys. The psychology damage you can take from hodling can end you. Saw this in the internet bubble, and now keeps literally dying for Bitcoin. This is something bad. I think somebody
committed suicide.
Somebody committed suicide, I guess, is what that article was, which is crazy. This is January 17th. Seasons come, seasons go. Just take them in stride. Fractals are fun when you know how to use them. Hope trolls didn't mislead you guys again and put you in front of another train again. Hodling, laugh out loud, derp. This is how repetitive this was. I actually warned everybody about this the first time they did it in 2014 and tried again in 2017, and they literally colluded to make sure you all got wrecked. That's why I put this here. Make sure to thank every single OG who told you don't listen to Kaz and all the hedge funds and analysts that were on the opposite side of LTC Winter the entire way down. Your crash came from the OGs. That's who had the platform to send as much shitty information to the massive amounts of millions of people that each of them added to following. When you think about degrees of separation, you find an OG with 50,000 followers and he tells them a stupid message over and over with repetition like Donald Trump does. That permeates through the fucking people they're interconnected with till you have some guy come around and say, did you hear about XRP? It's a good project. I heard it from this guy. That's how stupid stuff goes around like that. So, any of these you want to read, this chart's fucking ridiculous. Like the entire year. Here's June, you know. I'm telling them the entire fucking way off a cliff. I trade in all scales of time. There's no such thing as hodl unless you don't use risk management. Hope you guys are enjoying LTC winter as much as we are. Markets go in two directions, up or down. So leave your bias of this out of this. OGs have cost news billions, not millions, with persistent bull calls in the face of a clear downtrend. That's a fact. This is fucking June. I warned you the entire way until they deleted my account here, and then I popped right back up and told you where the bottom was there. There is no one in crypto that fucking has any idea what the fuck is going on out here. I'm not sort of kidding. This is a fucking calendar year of fucking warnings, so stop being fucking stupid. It did not matter. Then when the bull market came and you bounced back out of Lucky 13, crickets. Got Vinny on TV in November talking about his fucking winter. You never wonder how everybody got on the wrong side like that? Just a bunch of dummies sharing stupid ideas with each other, and they all can't admit they don't know what they're talking about, so no one will call each other in their bullshit, which allows the entire herd to die. It's fucking crazy.
Who's the former student who colluded?
Who's the former student who colluded? Not worth it. I've got lots of former students who've colluded and done weird things. You know, like, this is basically, my role in crypto has been this guy. Where is it? I have it. I just seen it just a minute ago. Please tell me I can find it fast. I had a good comic. Where'd it go? Man, I just seen it when I was looking for the other one. Now I don't see it when I'm talking to you. It's the cow one. It's hilarious. I just can't find it. This is this is an idea that's laying in wait. USD on the blockchain, 2014, 2015. The values in the blockchain, that's the game changer, not BTC. I told people that. You'll see, blockchain's the value, not the coins. That's an oldie but a goodie. Damn, I'm not finding this comic. I had a pretty funny comic and now I can't find it. Oh well.
Also, that's Diamond saying Bitcoin is going to be stopped in 2015.
Huh?
It's timing
Yeah.
that matters too.
It was a fight call by Diamond, yeah. Okay, I don't have it there. I thought I had it, don't have it in that folder. So this comic actually is the comic for Vinny though. Let's see, where's Vinny at?
There he is.
I got two of them.
The eggplant.
The eggplant? This is the eggplant, right. The cleaner one is this guy. You can see him easier. But think about it. That's the Litecoin winter projection. The entire year of fucking warnings, right, along the entire crash that all of the OGs are shoving everybody and their mother back into and murdering them and financially destroying people's lives. All of this. And then this jackass goes on CNBC and pretty much fucking makes the widest possible announcement that Armageddon's coming right there. Your crash was caused by crypto. That's who killed crypto. Crypto. This is an example of the crash.
Screenshot right there too.
This is what
screenshot is fucking gold. the face that she is making with the face that he's making. Amazing.
It's ridiculous,
So,
bro. You know, I never posted that I was doing the show. I forgot.
Where?
Like anywhere. I got caught up with you talking to you. I fucking forgot. Yeah.
Alright, it's alright.
Still figure it out. It happens. You thought you caught it. So anyway, this is the most detailed look now. This chart's now barren. But what was the behavior of the crowd that created the crash itself? You have this guy suing because Tether brought the market down. You really still think that right now? Looking at Litecoin Winter, looking at Qualcomm, looking at the structure of this price, looking at this dumb fuck, looking at all the other dumb fucks that fed this thing down, you think it's Tether? You think they're too stupid to admit they don't know what the fuck they're doing? Which one? So this is the best demonstration you can see for it. Now, reality is, you think there was Tether around when I forecasted the end date of this? Really think about it, right? I posted this May 25th, 2017 and told you what the end of winter would be. There is no tether in fucking at that point, right? To fucking say that this manipulated the market. When does tether hit the market? Right in the summer, right?
Yep.
Tether doesn't even exist. And the behavior of this cycle still happens with all the unknown fundamentals that would change about the marketplace. The shape of people is still the same. This is the shape of price. It is human behavior. It doesn't matter what the fuck you're trading. If it was fucking tulips, bitcoins, or the NASDAQ, all those charts look alike. Tulips and the fucking NASDAQ? Fuck shitcoins. Debtless asset? Tulips? Just think about it. What the fuck is a common factor in tulips and crypto? Dumbasses. That's it. So, price is people, right? So, this is what makes your market. Lots of stupid people all saying the same dumb, worthless shit at the same fucking time. Bitch, please. If you don't know about Kazus, you go learn today. So, this is the more detailed version of just what level of destruction Vinny caused. And this was our warning. We were literally warning you. The entire 2018, all of those fucking quotes, those are warnings. We're telling you who's going to kill you. We've seen this already. That was the point. Seen multiple crashes. I've seen exactly who kills you in them. Multiple times for 20 fucking straight years to the point I can tell you the whole crash to the bottom. That's how many times I've fucking seen it. And I documented the whole thing. And all of crypto looked at it and said, well, that makes me look stupid, so we better hide it. That's what 5-year-olds do. And that's why shitcoins aren't going to change the world, because the core of your market are fucking retarded from the very top players in it to the very bottom. None of these people have the capacity to replace central bankers or what they've done for the planet. None. Practice crypto safe sex. For further context, we decided to map the entire shitcoin market in order of market cap over LTC USD to illustrate just how ridiculous of a fraud is being perpetrated. This is November 26th, the very bottom. This is all of your crypto broken up by market cap. BTC all the way down to fucking, gold coin. Any fucking pile of shit that still exists. This is the correlation of crypto. As a marketplace, it's incredibly correlated. Your best of breed, worst of breed, they all look alike. In this location, along with the whole wave of 2018, crypto shoved everybody into literally Armageddon. And then when it began to bounce in 2019, there wasn't a fucking word being said in the real fucking crypto spring, which happens right here, where I told you where fucking altcoin winter fucking ends. What do you think comes after winter?
Yep.
Isn't it crazy? I literally told you where to fucking look.
And then they say it's not a call. It's not a call.
It's not a call?
It's not a call.
I fucking told you.
You didn't put a stop loss, guys.
Oh, Jesus. So, right, and if these guys say the wrong thing fucking 400 times in a row and they get one call right, they parade around like fucking pigeons on a fucking chessboard, right?
Yep.
But if you're actually accurate, you're not going to talk about that. Because most motherfuckers are haters. And haters only do one job real well, and that's hate. So, you look at this is the behavior of the market. I've shown you 2018, I've shown you basically the position I'm trying to warn the market about, and they are relentless in their pursuit of fucking hodling. And so the shape of a crash, if it's built on the backs of the biases of people too ignorant to get out of their own way, then the crash is based on this eggplant motherfucker and everyone dumber than him that would fucking do what he's doing and agree with him. That's markets. The shape of human perception. Fuck the asset. Anyway, that's a memo. And see, you guys thought, right? You think it's only fucking one of me. I told you, motherfuckers. I told you. My cousin come back to town, it's over with. It's not a joke, It's pretty funny that nobody gets that. Anyways, back to questions. Too many questions. Alright, I can read stuff again. So, what's next? Any good questions pop up? What you seeing, KJ? What's our runtime?
Everybody's just taking it in.
What? I cannot have a question and answer section of a show without questions. All right.
Yeah. So just to elaborate on, because Fractal Owl commented also, he noticed a similar thing to me, where plebs are right for a little while. That they're temporarily right. I had made a tweet like a few weeks back, and it's because it was something I was observing and thinking about, and I compared it. It's very similar to the structure of a casino, right? So if you've ever been to a casino and you sit down at a blackjack table, right? You're doing good. You're doing your thing, and then some fucking guy will sit down and he's just got loser written like all over him. He stinks of it, like you can smell it. And the guy's fucking down on his luck. He's miserable. He loses his first hand. And he's complaining, bitching at the fucking dealer. The guy's miserable, you know. And it's just like, all right, this guy's a fucking loser. And every casino in the world is filled with those people.
Right.
So it's like, when somebody like that sits down next to me, I will just get the fuck up the second I see him. Like, you know what? I'm not even going to play this because I don't want to be on his side of this.
Right.
Market is the same thing. You have these degenerates out here reeking of loss and like FOMOing into one thing to the next, just constantly making bad decisions. They can't catch a break. It's like, do you want to be on the same side of the trade as them, or do you want to be the house, right? So people are like asking questions like, how do you be the house if you can't be the exchange, you know, and get the fees and this and that? It's like, no, I just take the opposite side of their trade. Just don't take that fucking trade.
The market's a zero-sum thing. You don't make money from aliens. You know, when a bull market's happening, you're making money from selling the coins you bought at the low back to people who didn't believe in them at the same price. There's not extra humans. There is just a person who didn't agree. You know, everybody who's coming in to buy stocks here 10 years later are the same people who told you Obama's going to destroy the country that have to now pay this ridiculous premium to the same assets they laughed about. That's what allows the market to be cornered, is the fact that everybody feels the same way. If you all feel like the market's shit and fuck Obama, well then none of you fucking own it. Because the reality is, when have you ever felt like that and said that about something you were long? I hate this fucking 650 shares of IBM I got. I hope it goes to the fucking grave while I still own it. Who the fuck says that? Nobody says that. So the only point at which you're going to be like fuck Obama and fuck the economy is you don't have a stake in it. And the only time you're going to call Bitcoin 100 fucking thousand is because you fucking have it at 20,000, you ding dong, and you need to get out of it higher somehow. So the reality is, no one's going to wish bad on themselves. And if the whole crowd agrees, then, you know, at the bottoms of the market and they all hate it, then there's no more sellers. And if everybody loves it at the top of the market, and we know you'd only cheerlead if you owned it, then there's no one left to buy because you all own it. So who would I sell it to? The real reality is that in a negative state in the market, it allows the fucking supply to be cornered because not enough people will want to buy it anymore. And that allows a single person in the market or a single entity or a pool of entities to end up with the mass supply of coins. So since you're only going to be able to sell it back to humans, and there's not extra humans, it's the very same humans who told you fuck that coin, the future demand is from the very person who had fucking the greatest disdain for it at the lowest lows. That is the market cycle, and this is what we call in the rooms the arbitrage of perception. You don't like this house at 50,000, you'll love it at 250,000. Right? Same fucking house, but the illusions become real, and the more real it becomes, the more they want it. That's a quote from Wall Street, not my own. If you've never watched Wall Street 1, it's a great one. Say, oops, lost you. Say it again?
No, I'm here. No, keep going. Yeah, so like, as far as like winning and then losing, like back to the casino. So I used to go, and I found that, so interesting story. This guy David Cho, he's a Korean artist, graffiti artist. He does fantastic work. He was kind of known for he painted or did the mural on Facebook in their headquarters when Facebook first launched.
Okay.
And they offered him the choice. They were going to pay him either like 25 grand or stock options. And he took the options, and he said like he was living like a crazy lifestyle. He was broke. He needed money.
I do know that guy, the painter. Yeah, he balled the fuck out.
Yeah, he ended up cashing 150 million out of for that one mural. But in the meantime, while he was waiting for Facebook to flourish, he became a professional gambler. And he said a similar story to what I had experienced whenever I went to the casino. He's like, notice how everybody says I was up, and then I was up, but then I fucked up. You know, I was up all this amount and then I was down. So he's like, I'm just going to be really, really disciplined. And as soon as I'm up, I'm just going to cash out. And I'm going to come with a specific amount of money with my strategy because I know I can always be up at some point. And then when I get to that point, I'm out. And he actually hired a guy to watch him and force him to quit when he gets to that level. And he said he made like $1 million, just started small, made $1 million playing blackjack with that strategy. So I wasn't trying to be a professional gambler, but I enjoyed going from time to time. And I had this strategy of my own where I'm like, I'm gonna try to make $1,000. I usually make it within like 10 to 15 minutes of sitting down at the table, and then I'm just gonna stop. Because in the past I got up to 5,000, 10,000, whatever. Then I end up leaving with 3,000, or sometimes I end up losing money. Um, and it was something that I wasn't able to do it on a large scale, but like 8 out of the last 9 times I went to a casino, I made $1,000. 8 out of 9. Um,
Good shit. What's your starting row?
I come with like 3,000, 3 to 5.
Okay.
So I'm like, usually I come with 5,000, but I'll only have like 3,000 cash. And I'm like, all right, I got 3,000. I'm gonna make $1,000 and I'm out. And it works. It works 8 out of 9 times. So I started to think of it the same way in trading, and I started to notice that a lot of stupid people they'd end up being right for a short period of time, but then immediately after, once they start to get excited, like, oh, I'm going to double down now, that type of mentality, I'm going to go for it, let's let this shit ride. Once that type of sentiment or structure, emotional structure started to take place, they quickly lost their money. And it's no different in the casino versus trading crypto versus trading stock. That's
It's the same behavior we're talking about when the guy's like, I was right, but then the Fed fucking did QE, right? It's the same thing. They're usually right for a portion of the time, but their greed kicks in and they don't fucking take what they're right about. And then when they lose, they find some rationale that fits their bias to justify why the universe fucked them out of their genius moment.
Yep. I was out, and then that fucking loser guy sat down at the table, and everything switched.
No,
I was winning.
He was betting on every fucking hand. He just fucking threw the whole game off, and I couldn't get my read. Yeah,
this guy was playing the game wrong, or they switched the dealer, and then the dealer fucked me. That's the common story you hear.
Right.
So the same thing in the chart. Oh, I was up, and then Justin Sun tweeted this, or I was up, and then something happened. Tether pumped. And everybody's got some fucking excuse.
Always. All right. Let's see.
So guys, if you're up, fucking lock those profits in, okay? When you start to feel like you're a genius, because it never fails, or at least 8 times out of 9.
We just wrote a book. There is a chart titled 500% moves follow inflation. Why does inflation skyrocket during the consolidation phase on that Dow chart? Bear cycles, but it holds relatively steady during the cycles up or markup phases when asset prices, at least on the Dow, are all being marked up. That the benchmarks of inflation are highly fucked with. That's one of the problems with that. If you read in the market post where I wrote about inflation, it's from a blog post, but I have a clip of it. Here, let me find it real quick. Where did I put you? No problem. That specific thing about inflation. So CPI, Consumer Price Index, is the basis that most people understand what the inflation year over year is in the country. There's PPI, Producer Price Index, which is probably the more important one. Tells you what the cost of production is, and that obviously will go towards the consumer side. There's a lot of things that go into adjusting the Consumer Price Index and inflation, deflator, benchmarks, things that like technological gains. They factor into dialing down inflation. So saying that you can think about cars. Cars are really disinflationary. A mid-size low-end sedan has pretty much been between $19,000 and $24,000 for 20 years, while other things like healthcare and school have gone up fucking ridiculous percentages. So there is some flex and wiggle room to the way they communicate inflation, and they do it in such a way that I think it's kind of disingenuous. I came up with my own metric of inflation, and I find this chart, it's just easier. Where did I put you? So when I was working out the bottom of the market, here we go, found it. I can almost not feel my ears, so we're about almost out of time, fellas.
My ears are killing me.
My ears on fire. So this is the crash call at the bottom right in 2009. And this is the bottom part of the whole write-up, but the short of it is, this is the valuation call. I have technical reasons, but this is the fundamental for what I'm looking at in the market, combined with some other things that I see around sentiment-wise, people freaking out, want to punch each other in the face, all kinds of stuff. Simply put, the devaluation of your currency is the inflation rate of the money supply. If you guys know anything about that, the M3 number, the overall money supply number, that stopped being published in 2006. The Fed stopped disclosing that number, and that was another reason I could foresee the banking crisis coming over here in January 2008, just before the whole Armageddon happened, is because George Bush changed the law for bankruptcy that hadn't been changed since 1981 and stopped Americans that made over $29,000 from being able to file a Chapter 7, which is the bankruptcy that wipes out all personal debts. Instead, you could only restructure a 13, so you would do some form of a payback. That meant that the financial institutions had basically lobbied for a change to the way that people manage their debts and had a get out of jail free card, and were going to keep them in debt no matter what. So that let you know the bankers knew a crisis was coming because they adjusted the law. And it's the first time they did it since 1981, which is the onset of the actual mega bull cycle that lasted all the way till the internet bubble. So they only changed it here in the housing crisis, and a couple years before we run into this. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. So simply put, the devaluation of your currency is the inflation rate of the money supply. Experts estimate this number to be around 15 to 20%. I think it's closer to 13.5. If you compound this number, and experts, this is actually a number that I came up with and bumped it a little bit with some other ones that were running some outside the box places. These weren't experts. The people who came up with this are considered lunatics. So, but I looked at it and I put that on there. So there's no experts that can quote you 15 to 20. This was a number I saw thrown around by a couple people that like had a crazy idea about why it should be that high, because the asset prices of things like healthcare didn't make sense. But I looked at it like in terms of a lot of other things, money changers, the goldsmiths, and the real rate of inflation should probably be somewhere around 13 or 14%. If you compound this number from the last market highs till now, you will realize that 80% of the market wealth was already stripped away before the market decline, and that's why all hard assets and commodities tripled against the currency valuation. So in my eyes, the market was far cheaper than people could figure out, because they didn't understand the real fucking debasement of their currency and how fast it was actually happening. So the market was actually at a greater discount than it was actually, readily obvious to most people. Combined with the emotional state of things, nobody could tell where you actually were, that we were actually cheap. In stagflation era, like in Vietnam time frames, if we go back to the Dow 100 year, where the hell does this thing go? Right, this is the 100-year Dow. So in this shockwave over here in the 70s, you're in the Vietnam War, you're producing an assload of money, credit, you are financing weapons, you are doing the thing that is the most expensive thing a nation can do, which is wage war. And there's no real growth, right? You're coming off a massive markup period coming after World War II through the Korean War into your space era, really rapid technological developments, and the market is basically consolidating, and different parts of it are overheated. And you end up in a stagflationary period where there's no growth in the economy, but there's an assload of money credit being produced because of the wars. All of that money credit and fluff, I guess, basically over time will be tightened up into a place that you can have another markup. All of the technologies that are being produced off of the bump into the 60s are not in a place where they can come together to create a new paradigm in the market yet. That's the same thing that happened here. Yes, we came to the internet age, and the internet began to gain capacities and speed up. And then we have the social media era, and then we have fucking accelerations to the tech that's behind all of that. And we have more accelerations to electric vehicles showing up. And all this stuff is changing, but there's not really a plan that's come together yet. In the shockwave, the plan kind of begins to take shape, kind of like a fetus, right, until it's born. And all of the technology being produced, with all the money credit that's being spent on all the wars that we're invested in, all these different peripheral techs come out, but it will be a later date that you'll see them actually combine to create something really fascinating and new and give you another chance for growth. And this is just a rest, between runs, just like a sprinter has to do. In this part, we weren't fast enough in internet for the market to be the dream of the internet era people of 1999. Today, the internet has enough throughput for it to actually do some of the things people dreamt about here, but weren't possible till over here. And so that you're still having an inflation of the monetary supply, you're still having production of new techs. all that's still going on in the shockwave. So you're still suffering like crazy inflation, but you cannot like discern like any directional growth yet to the overall macro economy until later, until some of these technologies mature and can begin to be built on top of, and you can have real growth again that outpaces what's been going on in the shockwave. So you're always inflating in the system, and it's kind of like a balancing act. The Fed is essentially blowing air into a balloon that has a hole in it, and it has to blow the air into it at the right speed to not overinflate it past the escape rate of the air coming out, and not underdo it to where the balloon can completely collapse inward and you suffer fucking crippling permanent deflation. So what they run is a very careful balancing act to inflate you at the right speed to allow this to actually happen. It's rather incredible if you really understand what it takes for this to actually work across 100, 200 years. I hope that explained, answered the question. That's the best I could put it for you.
Fascinating shit right there.
That was probably one of the more complicated questions. Y'all asked, that's some good stuff. That was a good one, Register. Let's see, what else we got? When do I send me? It's not BTC to join Discord. Actually, Twitter Discord is totally free. We stopped doing the tier 3 to be in the Church of Jesus Christ. If you want to do that, everybody has to come through the free channel so we can meet you. We've had just some of the worst fucking people, some really nasty racist shit come to the channel, come back through handles. You know, I wear this mask and stuff like that, but you guys understand that the idea is that the messenger is not supposed to be important, it's the message. So whatever I look like, the idea that I convey should stand on its own 2 feet, regardless if I said it, KJ said it, or a 5-year-old said it, because logic is logic. That's the basis of why, you know, the presentation is the way it is. So aside from that, most all of you know who I actually am. And in the channel, if I'm going to, you know, have intimate level of conversations about the subject matter, I think it's fair we all know each other. So we'll all meet first and talk about base concepts, things that can help you get moving. And Twitter Discord's totally free. There's people who paid off their fucking colleges in that channel. And from there, you can figure out if like what we do is something that you'd care to do. At this point, we're very slow in our intake for church. At this point, we need to see that everybody who wants to be there actually wants to learn things. It's not a room for people to join and sit and learn, wait for a chart. That's not what we do at all. I got, what is this? Thank you. I don't know what I did, but I'm thanking Fractal Alpha for something. Thanks, dude. It told me to thank you, so much appreciated. Oh, I saw some crazy bits up there too. I didn't get to give a shout out for who did that. Fractal Al, oh, that's what it's for. Says he shared a reward to 10 others. Oh, true that. He hooked you all up. Good shit.
Yep.
See, and that's what you want. Like, you know, in a community that's making money, people look out for each other in and across the fucking platform. That's fucking awesome. I think that's one of the best things about what we see here is everybody is trying to see each other do better, and that's not a common thing. Most people compare themselves to you relatively, and seeing you do worse is a benefit to their relationship with you. If you think about it, they're the X and you're the Y in an X over Y expression, and there's 2 ways to move that number up. Either pump the numerator or dump the denominator. And most people, it's easier to dump the denominator, which is knock you down so that they look relatively better. We try to foster an environment where everybody actually doesn't do that shit. Because if you work on just out competing yourself and you're anything like all the plebs out there losing, beat yourself and you'll beat everybody else anyway. You don't have to target anybody. That's a ridiculous fucking thing to do because your viewpoint on another person, your judgment is extremely subjective and you don't really know what you're dealing with, but you know yourself. Let's see, what else we got here? Easy eCrypto. When trading off of shockwaves, is there something to look for to potentially determine whether the breakout of the range high or range lows are actually breakouts or if they are stop runs? I've covered that actually in a couple of past streams. If you're new here, you wouldn't have seen it. But the thing is, like, you know, in the moment that price is breaking from a shockwave and the bar is like, you know, green, there's not even a wick and it's sort of punch out, in the next bar it could totally be back inside the shockwave. And it's not that you know that any bar specifically is the one that's free and clear versus the one that's not. This is where risk management comes into play. You are going to inevitably buy fake outs. It's just that the ones that you buy can't kill you. That's all. You're going to lose some. but your goal is to, lose a little and make a lot. So if you stop out in the one, in a reasonable amount that you risk per trade, the one that carries will be the one that pays you. You just have to be mechanical enough to not allow the ones that make you miss to, put your head in the dump so you can't follow through in a plan to take risk-adjusted decisions along the way. That's the only real thing you're ever doing. You're gonna miss some, like I told you about the CEO and KJ stream. If you and a CEO both have a 40% win rate, 30% win rate, as long as you both minimize risk, the sociopathic CEO who doesn't have emotions about his choices will make more choices than you in the same span of time. And that's actually all your career is built on, is the series of choices in your statistics about your hit rate and losses. So, I know, all that hopefully conveys the idea I'm trying to get through to you. So you're not trying to fucking say that you never want to miss. Be okay with missing and be able to admit it and cut fast when it happens and have a defined metric that lets you do that mechanically so you're not caught up in the emotions of the moment trying to figure it out there. Before you ever take any trade, you should know where the fuck you're wrong at and get the fuck out of it before you've ever bought. So that when that moment comes, it's part of a plan that you can, initiate of pure logic and not have an emotional investment in that will warp your ability to fucking execute that. Alright, let's see. What am I watching? If you haven't figured out yet, you should go back to the beginning. Thanks for the history lesson. Hot tips. Brandon. Not much of a question. Elevate. Seen you before. Saw correlation of the Fed balance sheet versus S&P, Dow, IXIC, NASDAQ, how their price charts converge. There's a small breakout now on the balance sheet, but people still screaming recession. Impeachment headlines, Clinton, Trump, fractal getting real. Right. Most people don't realize the central bank is the marketplace. And if you read The Truth About Money, we're not going to go into that because it's a whole different subject for the stream. But that is exactly right. The market is the Fed. They are repricing assets by changing the amount of the denomination in the system. That's all you need to know. That's who controls the price of assets. So when people say, I'd have been right if it wasn't for the Fed, bitch, you haven't been paying attention for the last 100 years if you're saying some stupid shit like that. This market is because of the Fed only. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up. What's the difference between Roger's ass and the real Roger's ass? He said, what's the difference between Roger's ass and the real Roger's ass? Alright, so you have to be in the Facebook channel where I put the projection down. I had two different projections on this. And I'd estimated the time frame for us to be in Roger's ass and like handle that whole fucking situation. And, the shockwave changed and we had to make an update to the analysis. So let me find that for you. Roger's ass, try to talk. Oh shoot, Roger's ass is on the Coinbase chart. Right. So all it was hang on. This is, okay, that was it right there. This is Roger's ass. And that was the first projection for where he should be to deflect. He fit it, but the shockwave duration took too long. So I recognized this wasn't the correct structure of the shockwave I thought I was dealing with. So this is the real Roger's ass. So the real Roger's ass is actually, this is actually on the gold chart. It's GC1 exclamation point on a monthly. Remember that I told you to keep track of that fucking thing right there? I told you, keep watching this zone on gold. It would probably track it. Remember? We drew this in on the show weeks and weeks ago. And gold has died in that zone. So we see right now if this contains gold, if the markets can get a bullish structure. But right now, this is a side note. This is a serious bull flag worthy of paying attention to in gold also. That's dangerous if that breaks back up to risk assets. Anyway, that's a memo. Let me get the actual real gold chart. This is gold way back a year ago. So, right. So originally, this was like the Roger's ass projection. And as I looked at it again, I was like, you know what? This is the actual zone for Roger's ass. So this is the real Roger's ass. So it's just a joke. I had to make an adjustment to my zones and my timing for it. So once I figured out that this wasn't it, I just made a joke out of it. This is Roger's Ass, the sequel. That's the original. Nothing crazy. So this stream's getting a little long in the tooth. I did want to cover some shit coins. I said I would do on here just to talk about following what KJ talked about shorting and longing in the market. I do want to cover that. So I'm going to jump to that real quick before everybody's attention span crashes, because combined this is pretty long streams.
Yeah, fuck, I actually gotta run.
You gotta run? It's all good. I know I kept you for a while. I know you got baby stuff to take care of, so appreciate you, sir. This was fun. I hope everybody appreciated the streams. We had good times. Sorry, go ahead, KJ.
No, I said this was great, man. I appreciate it. It's always fun.
Most definitely, man. Good shit between them. If you guys didn't catch the first half of this. We had some really good combos about looking at crypto in two directions rather than one and being myopic. So get onto that one on KJ's channel, and then come back and rewatch this one.
Yeah, I'll be rewatching this in the morning. I want to hear the rest of it, but
that's what's up. Well, we're at 1 hour and 30, so I'm probably gonna wrap pretty shortly. Just because between the two streams, this is like fucking watching a feature-length movie right now.
All right, so I'm gonna stick. No, I'll stick. Fucking, I'm already in deep shit.
What's happening? All right, I'm just gonna try to catch one comments real quick. Gaming hardware. Research Google Stadia. So Waffles, bring that Stadia question of streaming gaming to the next stream, and we'll talk about that there. That would be a big segue for me to make right now. But yeah, Stadia and streaming games, I think, is a big thing to talk about. With the size of these fucking patches on Fortnite and Apex being 7 and 20 fucking gigs and taking a half hour to get to touch your games, it's time for an evolution in those markets where people get their time back and there's an efficiency to be had. So I do think Stadia, introducing the titles they have, gives us something amazing to look at. Borderlands, Destiny 2, there's big games going in streaming, Gears of War, Halo. It gets to the point that you have the best titles in streaming and those things are updated on their cloud computers and everyone can plug them with any device. It changes the gaming landscape permanently and mobile gaming becomes fucking something crazy. So we'll talk about that. Bring that up in the next stream and we'll bounce on that more. What does it mean that both BTC pairs are moving upwards? For example, Link USD and Link BTC. It means that Link is pumping everywhere. That's what that means. The market is the Fed. Yep. All right. I don't know if I have to catch up. All right. So KJ is almost out of here. Okay. So let's do a quick little wrap on it. This is the same thing we've been tracking. We come in every week and we've given you a little update on this. And like I told you guys, the shape of the shockwave versus the overlay could deviate. And so this is important in case that happens. What now? So tracking the shockwave, we track the angle. This wasn't the exact angle of the previous shows. The angle was drawn to the high that we could see at the time, which was this high up here. And as a next high, a lower high makes a new low, you have to adjust your angles. So your TA shouldn't be evolving with the price. You shouldn't just statically be like, well, I think this line still matters. The rules are that if the high that your downtrend is the high to the next lower high, that generates the next lower lows, right? So it's high, low, lower high, even lower low, and that's what defines a trend. So once this low gets broken again by another lower high, then that becomes where the angle should be. And remember, you have to respect wicks when you draw a trend line. So now this is still what we're watching, and BTC still needs time. It's still inside of what now amounts to an even bigger fucking shockwave at a different resolution. You could call this, as long as if the gold fractal is going to continue, and you look at it out here on crazier resolutions, it could potentially be a bull flag, but it has to prove itself, and that takes time that you don't have to rush for, right? So if it's anything like a bull flag like this, when do you participate? Do you have to get it like fucking down there? No. A dummy could play it anywhere north of this, right? So give it its time. Remember what we talked about. You don't have to have the lowest price that's in hindsight, or you're going to have this guy in 2010. The reality is you just have to have a risk-adjusted decision at the place that allows you to participate with what's going on and not die in the event that you didn't get it right. That's your goal. So that's a quick review of BTC. I know we talked about Roger's ass, and this is just updated where we are in the structure. And I hate extra drawings on my chart, so I'm not going to do that. So I want to talk about that Ether BTC that KJ talked about, Ether BTC. So we're not talking about shit coins, like penny stock coins. When we look at this thing, right, and at a weekly time scale, just look what BTC looked like in 2017. Does this look like that? Where did people talk about Lambos, right? The back half of 2017, maybe the 2/3 of it. Where does this graph look like fucking BTC in 2017? Just to make it simple. Just here, right? It's not quite an eggplant. I don't know what that is. Is that like a tiki torch? What the fuck just happened there? That was a total accident. Well, yeah, I didn't know what's going on there. Well, it's not an eggplant, so that's good. Eggplant TA, baby. I know you guys like that shit. I don't know. It's turned to an ice cream cone. It was supposed to be a flame. That was a tiki torch. Well, I don't know. It didn't work out. Anyway, so that span, this is weekly. Let's go to something like a 4-hour chart. And in this resolution, where's that big ass tiki torch? Right? In that resolution, this is the spot. There's no bull market. Why wouldn't you just keep playing that if that's where people were making the crazy money, right? The bull market is what you want to buy. And at the resolution where we were just talking about this thing at that KJ showed it to you, you don't want to buy that. Because your goal is not to hunt for the very lowest point on the entire data set. It's to hunt for a data point that can become a relative low to the future. That's not this. Could it bounce? Yeah. Is your goal to try and cherry pick that and make a career out of that? Dude, what are you thinking? So, is there a scale of time this might make sense? Maybe down here, at this resolution, it looks like a bull market here, but only here. So perspective matters, and all things are relative. Easy to buy? What the fuck time frame are you talking about? Next 10 fucking years or next 10 minutes? You have to define that. Context matters. Perspective matters. Right? If price is a fractal of itself at all resolutions, then if you haven't given it proper context, you have no basis to be here. Alright, so I think that was it. So that's Ether. We'll pick up LTC real quick and look. I know a couple of this is LTC dollar. We had actually defined this one out, what he was doing for a couple shows in a row also, right? We talked about him as he was rising, and then he fucking blew the fuck up and crashed. And we had this big old trend structure as he was coming down. And he's now still doing what? As he falls, right? He's got a shockwave, duration of shockwave, flag, and he's not really doing much else different on his way down. So you look at these structures on the way up, right? Shockwaves on the way up, we look at the shockwaves on the way down, we see where the floor flipped, where the last fucking major flag that pumped the whole high crashed and then fucking turned into resistance and then sent him down. Ultimately, if you look at like this structure here, I drew a channel in, and this other level here I drew in, this is for the entire basket of crypto. Nope, not that, sorry. Come on, stop it. Am I retarded? Yes, I am. Don't answer that. So this is all crypto, right? By market cap again, we talked about earlier, that was on the eggplant chart. That's what I was trying to show you, that the whole market is basically in this structure, right? This is the checkpoint in the bottom coming down, this is LTC correlating, and this is the market right now. As far as we go from being in the summer till right now, shitcoins in the latter part of the year are in a bear market, at least in this resolution. Are they in a place that we talked about is interesting? Yeah, they're in the fucking, confluence zone of what was happening when Vinny opened his mouth last year. So it's at least a place of interest. But the structure of what you're looking at least in the higher resolution, isn't really where you want to be. So unless you're going to be nimble and be scalping this thing as it tries to turn, not really your best bet right now. Any other coin? Look at what's another shitcoin? A small shitcoin.
Pull up XRP.
XRP. BTC or USD?
BTC.
All right. Let me turn this off real quick. What resolution you want? Alright, well.
Look at the daily.
Daily? Alright. So, does he have some signs of life? Yeah, a little bit. What we've seen here, at least on this resolution is, this is a moving average, tried to flatten out but didn't make it. Why is this fucking orange? Here, it turned up and we had a huge bull leg. Here, nothing. Here it turned up, decent bull leg. And here, we don't know yet, right? So those are much we can at least see. These are the potential points that a bull trend can develop. You just need confirmation. So at this moment, how does XRP look? It doesn't look terrible, right? At a particular scale of time. So we can see that. See this entire range is pumped that up, and we can see him rising, in an even steeper trajectory here as he pushes. So far, he's had a pretty decent bull rip off of the fucking base lows against BTC, as BTC's dominance slipped a little bit, from this time period. Structurally, how is he doing though overall? This will be our. We'll go 8 hours to see. Okay, I just wanted to see something already. So, let's look at this leg before. Draw some ideas. Climax high, dump low, stop runs a high, and then we see that, right? So he swings back through it, and this becomes resistance here in this zone. And your down wave starts from, this huge cross cycle at the top, right? So he has this resistance here, and then he begins falling in shockwaves, right? You can see shockwave there, and he is just falling, shockwave lower, shockwave lower. This guy comes up, this huge arc happens, and it's pretty vicious, but he doesn't fucking compromise the last high that drove in the low. So this entire shockwave forms, right? South of that, and then we see smaller ones right on the way down again as he falls some more. I'm drawing it underneath this time instead of on top of it. They're showing the flags. And we see it again. So this is your last shockwave that drove him into the fucking low base he's in, and he's got a decent accumulation down here. You need to see this whole area fail out, like totally. Right now, it's a potential stop. Oh god. Why do we bother trying that when I know you can't go straight line, right? So this is the last high that puts you into the ground, right? That's where he is. He's at least a place of interest because along this entire arc, he could not do this. He could not challenge the highs that drove him into deeper lows. He's finally challenging at least the most recent one on this particular resolution that drove into the lows, and he has a decent fucking period across the bottom to have accumulated enough volume for this to be significant. Ultimately, he needs to be in a place where he's well free and clear of having broken that level. Just like up here, right? Like the guy had asked earlier, well, how do you know this is not a stock run? You don't. But with good risk management, you'll be ejected on that short. And you'll be ejected on this short too. And hell, you'll be ejected on that short too. And when you finally bag the elephant on this motherfucker, you get paid back for all of them if your risk management's right. That's what you're ultimately trying to do. I probably should use a different color. But when we come down here, the risk is for this guy to possibly be on a fake break. Right now you don't know. But you know he's challenging a level that could ultimately change the trend structure of a higher resolution. So the only thing you can really do is watch, right? The whole area could become area of concern. If he fakes it and stays in here, then this range is really big in terms of how much volume could possibly get to accumulate down there while he's going sideways. There's not really anywhere else in the chart that he goes sideways that long. He's in a pretty decent trend structure falling down here where he has no, this is the greatest sideways move he has, right? Everything else is falling. This is another decent sideways move. So let's turn on volume profile. And let's see where the volume is for this, so we can get an idea of where the markups and markdowns were, and they're right where they should be, right? He has a huge amount of volume going sideways over here. We can see the volume profile, and we can see up here too. He's got the next greatest amount up there, and he's got the biggest amount we've ever seen down there, right? Of all of what's available on the screen. That's what this shows you. If I scroll that off, stuff disappears. So let's put up the time frame a little bit higher. So yeah, just at this point, we're looking back just over a year, XRP's not really been stable anywhere. He's been kind of in motion. He has a small amount of sideways movement here to get some kind of accumulation. He has a greater amount of it here. And you take into account this entire region then has, it's a very big structure. I'm just making it retarded. Let me change this to blue. Right, this whole range is full of different shockwaves that build up an entirely large shockwave at the top. But this is the greatest volume we see in XRP at the bottom, so this is at least worth paying attention to as an entire region, because that's what markets do. Shockwaves are just localized monopolies of perception that you can mark up and sell back to the same perception at higher prices, or new entrants into the market who may come in with euphoria. So it's at least worth watching. You know, the only thing you care to do this guy is play him north of this entire range, and you want this entire range. You don't want him back in here and fucking around like, well, maybe I'll go ahead and get him right here. You might come out. Let him prove himself and define risk above this range if you're going to play the potential for a markup of that location, of this location. You know, it either does this or he fails and never comes out, and he adds more and more to this entire local range of fucking volume until he does figure his way out. And either comes out here fucking dying if there's too many people there on the right side, on the same side of the trade, or you actually have enough of fucked up sentiment out there and enough people have sold to give this thing a real chance to move. The XRP army and the zealots for XRP make that a worrisome proposition, but again, you know, we may not be fully aware of all the sentiment structures of all the participants, so price is first. Accumulations are just places that prices are stationary. So that is what gives a person with, you know, smart money a chance to get the price they want. Smart money is not going to be into chasing a thing that's flying and hauling ass. You know, good negotiator names his price, and if you're not willing to sell today at that price, then patience is ultimately what's going to get you that position. So smart money is always going to be in stable prices. Dumb money is always going to be rapidly changing prices, because rapidly changing prices are emotional. And I think on that note, we're going to close it up so KJ remains daddy. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. We covered a lot of stuff and as condensed as we could. I don't know how we're trying to keep this, you know, in family-friendly watching times, and it still got to like fucking almost 2 hours somehow. And I feel like
3.5 hours going.
I still don't feel like I've gotten what I wanted to touch on in crypto. You know, I had a lot more time to do, but just to keep this in palatable portions, I guess we're going to save it for the next one.
Let's maybe do it again soon.
Yeah, I'm willing to do it again this week if you're around. There's a lot going on in the market since fourth quarter. Stock market's busy. I'm going to be covering some stuff in the stock market and Dashly world. So yeah, whatever you feel like, homie, show up, let me know. You know I'm always ready.
Yeah, I know that.
So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, both of them, and you'll be watching. Make sure you get as much as you can out of these. We definitely put them together with your benefit in mind. So try to cover the level of detail that is useful without making it too complicated to be used.
Super Mario Diaries.
Respect the bit, Super Mario. Appreciate everybody who threw some in the show. I guess before we sign, any final comments or questions for us before we run away?
No more comments or questions.
No more comments or questions? Katie's heading out.
Wrap it up.
All right. So I had a blast, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that shit. Let me get up for this chat talk. Yeah, so never FOMO without a stop loss. Famous sayings of the one and only Chen. This is the Crypto Latex edition. I hope you guys learned a lot today. Stay safe out there, everybody.